There is so much misinformation going on with this novel coronavirus, it boggles my mind. And it's causing people to panic, make bad decisions. My patients are confused. So I decided to make this video and take on misinformation by watching some clips, reading some articles with you, and really understanding where the misinformation comes from.
We have contained this, I won't say airtight, but pretty close to airtight. We've done a good job in the United States.
No, we did not contain it. No, it's not even remotely close to airtight. Yes, we've made some steps in the right direction of trying to quarantine people, and we should applaud our public health professionals. But to say on national television that this is contained, no, the numbers are still gonna go up tremendously in the US as more testing kits become available. So no, not airtight, but also still no reason to panic.
Think about how the world would be if you tried to quarantine everybody because of the generic type flu. Now, I'm not saying this is the generic type flu, but maybe we'd be just better off if we gave it to everybody, and then in a month it would be over, because the mortality rate of this probably isn't going to be any different if we did it that way.
This is horribly wrong. No, we shouldn't just gather everyone up and give them the novel coronavirus. That is a horrible idea and a horrible sentiment. Not only because it's cruel, because people are going to die, but it's not scientifically warranted. Let me explain. Yes, we don't quarantine everybody to prevent the spread of the flu, because we have things to prevent the flu, to treat the flu. We have medicines that if you get the flu, we can reduce complication rates. We can shorten the course. It's called oseltamivir. We also have the flu shot that if you get it, it prevents the spread of the flu, or if you still get the flu, you'll have a milder case. For the novel coronavirus, we have no such thing. So we absolutely need to slow this thing down by quarantining individuals so that we can get these medications made, approved, safety tested, do the same thing with the vaccine so that unnecessarily we don't cost people their lives. The whole purpose of herd immunity or community protection is to make sure everyone gets vaccinated so we can protect those who can't get vaccinated. Now, in this case, we don't have a vaccine, but we can still provide herd immunity or community protection by quarantining those who are sick. Because yes, while me as a healthy 30-year-old, if I get this novel coronavirus, it looks like my lethality rate is going to be quite low. But for someone like my father who's age 65, that's not the same story. All it takes is, if you don't know and you're not an expert, allow the experts to speak on it. The last thing I want to see is one more picture of Gwyneth Paltrow wearing a fancy $200 face mask, claiming that that's how she stays safe because she was in the movie Contagion and she knows what's up. No, that's goop. And when I say goop, I meant poop.
$100,000 confirmed cases, 3,300 deaths, 230 known cases, 21 U.S. states, 12 people have died.
Yes, numbers are going to go up. This is a virus that spreads. No matter how much we try and quarantine, there's still going to be spread of this virus. The idea is that we try and control it to the best of our abilities, but know that there will be fluctuations in the daily numbers. That's why I recommend not looking every single day and not being scared by headlines that we see on Twitter that are like, oh my God, Governor Wolf says there are now 2 confirmed cases in Pennsylvania. There's going to be a lot of confirmed cases in Pennsylvania and the US, especially as we get more testing kits available to the doctors and nurses on the front lines. But that's okay. We should know how many cases are out there. We want to know so we can properly calculate the lethality rate, to get more information, to study these people, to maybe put them in clinical trials. But the more the media shows breaking news, alert, outbreak warning, the more we're going to panic. And the more we're going to make bad decisions with bad information. So let's ease the misinformation out of our headlines. Let's talk about the facts and let trusted sources like the CDC and WHO guide us properly as we move forward throughout this pandemic.
Every breath that I took wasn't enough, and I just couldn't get enough air. It sounded like I was breathing through a paper bag. The cold was stuffy nose, sinus problems, coughing. It wasn't very serious. It was just quite uncomfortable. The flu, when I had the flu symptoms, that felt like I'd been hit by a truck. It was quite debilitating in regards to just generally feeling unwell. The lights were affecting me, sound. I just wanted to rest. It really wasn't great. However, it wasn't life-threatening. The time when I had pneumonia, that's the point where it was getting quite serious. It felt like I could only use half my lung capacity, and every breath that I took wasn't enough, and I just couldn't get enough air. Also, it sounded like I was breathing through a paper bag. So with my particular case, the symptoms were, it happened in 3 stages. The first stage, I first had a cold, just an everyday cold, thing that everybody gets. I then got better before I got worse. So from the cold, I progressed into the flu. Now I've had the flu a few times in my life. This was definitely the worst flu that I've had. From the flu, I got better again, and that's when I had pneumonia. The pneumonia stage was when I went to the hospital because I thought it's quite serious.
The only thing that we really can do here for you is that if you really don't want to go, listen, we're not going to make you go. Up until 15 minutes ago, I thought everybody was going, to Dublin tonight without any sort of impediment. I'm not going to have a commercial policy blanket for everybody. I would think you'd get a refund, but I can't say that for sure. Alrighty? But if the leader of the free world is telling you that, your travel is being affected, I would think that we have to give you your money back.
We will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days. The new rules will go into effect Friday at midnight. These restrictions will be adjusted subject to conditions on the ground. There will be exemptions for Americans who have undergone appropriate screenings. These restrictions will also not apply to the United Kingdom.
I think a lot of people panicked last night when it wasn't clear that American citizens could still return home. So I know a lot of people that were freaked out and trying to change their flights yesterday, but I think people have kind of calmed down now that American citizens can return home, but there's definitely been a lot of uncertainty, which has caused a lot of panic.
Trump's speech last night, after he talked about the travel ban from Europe, or travel restrictions, I guess I should say, from Europe, and the handling of cargo shipments. Two clarifications basically had to be issued within the space of an hour. One from DHS saying the travel restrictions do not apply to all travel, and then the president himself tweeted he didn't mean cargo. So why the confusion?
I don't think there was confusion. The president took another historic step, just like he did in January with China, to suspend all travel from Europe, Allison, for the next 30 days, because we've recognized, our health experts tracking global data, that the epicenter of the coronavirus has shifted from China and South Korea to Europe. And Americans coming home will be funneled through 13 different airports. They'll be screened, and then we're going to ask every American and legal resident returning to the United States to self-quarantine for 14 days.
That's helpful information.
Our health experts would disagree very strongly with the view that the president, that the action the president took last night with Europe was not called for.
到店的时间给它错开，今天的话大概在10桌左右。现在我们桌面上是没有餐具的，就是因为我们餐具全部都在消毒，就是等顾客到店之后，我们再给客人上那个餐具。
符合2个条件的呢，就可以支持开业。第一个呢，就是人员管理上头，外地人员呢，自动隔离的够14天，健康证在有效范围之内。第二个呢，就是我们要求的硬件这一块儿。店家呢需要准备隔离带、隔离桌，还有消毒液，保证店里面的消毒设施呢完善。
China, they were able to really increase the laboratory testing capacity very, very quickly, particularly in Wuhan and in Hubei province. In the United States, it may take more time to do the same kind of thing, to really scale up laboratory testing capacity. It may not be possible to do it in such a short space of time now.
The bottom line is we're not at the mercy of the virus. The great advantage we have is that the decisions we all make as governments, businesses, communities, families, and individuals can influence the trajectory of this epidemic. We need to remember that with decisive early action, we can slow down the virus and prevent infections. Among those who are infected, most will recover.
What will be unique about this is it will be a drive-through service aimed specifically at patients who have already seen their GPs and require a specimen collection. Patients will just literally be able to drive through this site at the repat, wind their window down, and the specimens will be collected directly out of the car window by essopathology nurses who will be wearing full personal protective equipment. It presents no risk at all for anyone working on the site and will support isolation of those patients until the results of their tests are known.